Okay, folks, it's gardening season, and I did something this year that I started doing last year for my friends. I raised my own vegetable seeds or vegetable plants from seeds. I start them indoors and then grow them up into seedlings and then put them out when the weather's right. This year, I did some extras for some friends, and when I gave the plants to some of my friends, several of them now have asked me, I've never gardened before, I don't know what to do with these, what do I do? So this is a video, I'm going to do just a short little video, hopefully short, just kind of give the basics of how to do gardening and how to make your plants thrive. It's really not hard, it's really pretty simple. But there are some things that your plants need that you just have to pay attention to. So, other than water, plants need water first of all. They need here in southern Middle Tennessee, the general rule is an inch or two of water per week. I would say in southern Middle Tennessee here, particularly as you get into summer, that's going to be much closer to 2 inches than 1 inch. Okay. So you've got to give them enough water. I find it really hard. Now I do raised bed gardening, and in raised bed gardening, it is almost impossible to overwater your plants because water, it's like pouring water in a bucket. It's all going to go down, right? So if you have a raised bed, the water wants to equalize at the level of the ground. So you pour water in a raised bed and it's just going to flow toward the bottom and out into your soil. So if you have good soil in your raised bed, it'll hold water, but it's still going to want to, like, you're not going to drown your plants in a raised bed. You're just not. You can water the heck out of them, and water's just going to flow down and out if it's got good drainage. So it's hard to overwater them, but you can certainly underwater them. So make sure they get enough water. So other than water, your plants need several things to thrive. Garden plants. They need your basic NPK. Like if you're looking on a bag of fertilizer, it'll say 444 or 10-10-10 or 3-18-20, or it'll have three numbers, and those numbers stand for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Sometimes it'll say potash. Potash is a way to get potassium. So, but it's NPK. Those are the letters. I look for a balanced fertilizer, in other words, equal parts of NPK. So let me show you what I use. There's several good fertilizers. I use organic. This is what I use, and there's nothing. It's not because this is magic or anything. It's because this is what's available at my local Lowe's. So this is what I get. But if you look on the side, see how it says 444 right there? Nitrogen, N, phosphate, P, potash, K, or potassium, okay? Now this has some calcium and magnesium in too, that's another thing, a little bit of sulfur, but your basic thing is 444. I like it. That's a balanced fertilizer, okay? I like a balanced fertilizer. So if you can, this is good stuff. This is dry. A couple other good things: Dr. Earth Premium Organic all-purpose fertilizer. It's a 444 also, and it's a liquid. Liquid is better if you can get it, because when you put it on your plants can access it immediately. Okay, but that's hard to come by. You can get it from Amazon sometimes, sorta. Espoma is another brand. If you live in southern Middle Tennessee, you can go to Murfreesboro to Martin's, and they have Espoma products. Espoma Biotone Starter Plus, that's a 433 fertilizer, which is still a balanced, more or less balanced fertilizer. I just use this Job's stuff because I can get it right here at my local Lowe's, and it's good stuff. So your plants need a good NPK fertilizer with those three things. They also need calcium and magnesium and iron and zinc. Now I set them that way because they go together. Calcium and magnesium. If your plant does not have calcium, it cannot access the magnesium, even though it may have it available to it. If it doesn't have magnesium, it can't access the calcium, so you need both. Iron and zinc are the same way. If the plant doesn't have iron, it can't access the zinc. It can't, you get what I'm saying. So the products I use for iron and zinc, this is Earth Juice Cal and Mag. I got this on Amazon, and you use just a little bit of it. It's a liquid. You put it in a gallon of water, so much in a gallon. And this is Liquinox. This is iron and zinc, and this is good stuff. Now, let me show you. Let me see if I can show you something on my plants. I've got my tomato plants in already. So you see here. See how that plant is a little yellowed on the bottom? Sometimes when plants get a little stressed, and see this too, it's kind of purplish. If you see yellow or purple on your leaves, they start to look a little sick. That's either a nitrogen, that's either a calcium magnesium problem, or it's an iron and zinc problem. I don't really care about figuring out which it is. If I start to see my plants looking a little bit sick, I just give them a shot of both. I give them calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc. If you keep your plants fertilized, watered, make sure they get the calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc, they're going to do fine. If you see your plants starting to look a little sick, just give them a shot of that, and they're going to be fine. You don't have to worry about figuring out which particular nutrient they're deficient in. Just give them a shot of both and move on. Okay. Okay. What's next? Okay. So when you to put all this together into kind of a plan or a program, when you plant your seedlings, dig a little hole in your garden. This is assuming you have good soil. Okay. I could talk about building soil and adding amendments to soil. I'm not going to do that in this video. But assuming you have good soil, dig a small hole, put a little bit of compost. If you can get some compost, put a little bit of compost into the bottom of the hole, and then put a little pinch of your organic fertilizer on top of the compost. Cover that over with just a half an inch of dirt, still in the bottom of the hole. And then you're going to put your plant in. And the reason you put a little bit of dirt in there is you don't want your plant roots contacting the fertilizer initially. Okay, you want a little bit of a barrier until the fertilizer can break down, particularly if it's granular. Okay, so put a little bit of compost in the bottom of the hole, a little sprinkle of your organic fertilizer, your balanced organic fertilizer. Cover it over with just a half an inch of dirt. And then you put your plant in and cover that over good with dirt. Maybe sprinkle a little bit more of your organic fertilizer around the edge of your plant, but make sure it doesn't touch the stem. Okay, the nitrogen in the fertilizer, if it comes in direct contact with the plant before it's broken down, it can burn it, like scorch it. So keep it kind of away from the stem, sprinkle it around, and then cover your plants with cover the soil with mulch. Always mulch. Always mulch. Bare soil is horrible. It just all your water will just evaporate. Mulch holds water in it. Your plants will be much healthier if you put some mulch down. I like wood mulch, just wood chips. Some people like straw. My problem with straw is a lot of times when you buy straw, it has weed seeds in it, and then your garden just gets grown up with weeds. And we're trying to eliminate weeds anyway, so I don't like that. You can use there's other things you can use. You can use pine straw. Some of that stuff, the pH is not exactly what you want. I like wood chips if you can find them. They're cheap. And some people say that's not a great thing, but I use them and it's fine. Okay, but always keep your plants mulched. And then you're going to want to fertilize kind of regularly. So what I do is, as soon as I get my plants planted, I water them in real good, and I will put some of this some of this calcium, magnesium, and iron and zinc stuff that I have. I will put that in the water, and I will water each plant in really, really good with whatever the amount of calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc you're supposed to put in. Put in that amount. Water your plants in really, really good after you've mulched them. Make sure they get 2 inches of water a week. And then I will come back and I will give them some additional fertilizer. This is the stuff I use is 444, so it's not real. Like you can get 10-10-10 or 18-18-8. You can get really potent stuff. I don't put it on that strong, and then I do it a little more often. I think that's better. You know, do what you want to do. 2 weeks after I plant, I'll do it again. I'll put a little more fertilizer around the edge of each plant. I'll pull back the mulch, put a little fertilizer around each plant, put the mulch back on, water it all in real good. I'll do that 2 weeks after I plant. I'll do it 4 weeks after I plant. I will do it and then I'll do it kind of whenever I need it, but I'll at least do it mid-season, and I will do it at the end of the year too. The calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc, I put it in when I plant the plants. 2 weeks in, when I water, I'll put a half dose of the calcium, magnesium, and iron and zinc in, and then I don't use that again unless I start to see problems in the plants, and then I'll mix up a full batch and put in with it. But you do that, keep them mulched, keep them watered, keep them fertilized. You're going to do just fine. Now, with tomatoes, there's something else I do. Once the tomatoes set fruit, and I'll probably do a separate video on this when I do that. When my tomatoes set fruit, I'll do a separate video and show you how to do that. And this, like, you don't have to do this, but I find that the tomatoes grow bigger and they taste better if you do this. When they start to set fruit, I will get some gardening Epsom salts. It's magnesium sulfate. It's like an extra shot of magnesium. I find it really, really helps the tomatoes to taste better, to get a little bigger. You'll notice a difference in taste if you do some this with that and some without it. But you'll get, like, I can get that at Walmart. I can get the agricultural gardening Epsom salts. It's pretty cheap, and you mix it up in some water, get it dissolved, and give each tomato plant about half a gallon to a gallon of that stuff when it sets fruit, and then again a couple of weeks later or a month later, that helps. But don't worry about that right away. I'll probably do another video when I do that to mine. Anyway, I hope this helps. This gardening is not complicated. It's not hard. You can do this and you should be just fine. Do the things I said in this video. Keep them fertilized, keep them watered, make sure they got the calcium, magnesium, iron, and zinc. You will be fine.